Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at alerts.chartguys.com. Hey everyone, checking back in on the cryptocurrency space. I've been out of the loop for 48 hours, unplugged, couldn't even check the price. But what I did was get a position in ETH while I was gone because we're in an uptrend. And if we're in an uptrend and I'm going to be away for multiple days, I would rather be stopped out with a small loss than miss a bull move because the odds are in my favor, knowing that we are in an uptrend. So that's what I did. And we'll go over that in a little bit more detail. But first, we're looking at Bitcoin. Great sign for the bulls that we just went straight for continuation. So as we were heading into this weekend, we had a scenario where we were watching the 2-day time frame. And the bull move had already started up here, and we were saying there's 3 scenarios. Scenario number 1 is we're going to see a head and shoulders pattern, which would indicate further weekly consolidation is coming. Scenario number 2 was going to be looking for an equilibrium, a little bull move here, but unable to break resistance and then tighten up for another week or so. And then scenario number 3, which our vote in our chat room, as well as my opinion, was the least likely scenario, straight into continuation, ended up happening. So congrats to the bulls. Higher highs are reached. The weekly time frames on a lot of cryptocurrency now are giving us a line in the sand and a key level for the bulls to maintain full control that need to be held, and that's 74.27 on Bitcoin. Keeping in mind that if the weekly uptrend is lost, it's not game over for the bulls, because that means we zoom out to the monthly chart and we know we still need to confirm this monthly trend. On the monthly chart, this move is coming straight from 3,100 up to where we stand now. We need a clear higher low and higher high to confirm the trend change, and then we'll have uptrends on the daily, the weekly, the monthly, the yearly, all time frames that are important to us, and that is still the one thing we're waiting for. So there's that line, the weekly higher low. If it's lost, we're just going to look for a monthly higher low to form compared to 31.28, but obviously the higher we go before monthly consolidation begins, the better, because the bulls will have more space to work with. Just like this weekly time frame, the higher we went before weekly consolidation, the better, and we certainly went far before we got that first sign. Now we have our higher low on the weekly time frame established, our clear weekly support, and we'll see how long the bulls can keep this weekly uptrend intact. The daily time frame is a big bearish reversal shooting star candlestick with an upper wick of profit taking, and we're due for a higher low. The last daily higher low was 75.08, and here we are $1,500 above that level. Anything above 75.08 will be a daily higher low. We have our daily exponential moving average to watch as support. We have the 4-hour uptrend still trying to hold these exponential moving averages. So if we see a close under these exponential moving averages, I'm going to zoom out to the daily time frame. And essentially, if we confirm the 4-hour downtrend with a lower high and a lower low, then we're looking for that daily consolidation to follow through, and our target will be the mid to lower 8,000 range and these exponential moving averages. So like we've seen many times, if you miss the bull move up, waiting for the first 5-minute oversold conditions can be the way to do it. And here on the 15-minute time frame, we didn't get oversold. When we were at the low of that candlestick, we were just getting towards oversold conditions. We're just now hitting 15-minute oversold for the first time. But if you've been paying attention the last few weeks on these videos, past couple months, you know that we get the first 5-minute oversold bounce, significant. We went from 88.61, and just like that, a half hour later, we were up at 91.50, and that's a very solid, let's see, 3.5% bounce in a half an hour. So we got that follow through. Now we look at the 15-minute oversold bounce, and now that we're seeing 15-minute oversold bounces, then if we continue to consolidate, then we would zoom out and look for hourly oversold bounces. So we have lost the hourly uptrend on Bitcoin with a lower high and lower low. But as we know, if we see trend changes with a lack of follow through, that means zoom out and look for a potential flag. So if the bears don't see follow through here and we get a bounce back over 9,000, we zoom out to the 4-hour time frame, and you could still make the argument that that's a bull flag at this point. Like I said, if the 4-hour chart gives us that lower high and lower low, daily consolidation will be underway. But if we can hold on to these exponential supports on the 4-hour time frame, bulls might be able to fend off that daily consolidation, at least temporarily, and try for a daily inside bar with tomorrow's candlestick. So I chose ETH, and the reason I chose ETH was because I liked the setup as far as the risk to reward with this key support level. Because if I know I'm going to have to put a stop loss, I want to have a clear support level to be looking at. We were pulling back and looking for a daily higher low to form after the bounce from 22.26, and looking at it on the 4-hour time frame. This is the consolidation that was underway right here. And again, I saw a 4-hour trend change and a lack of bear follow through. So heading out there, heading out camping, I entered positions right here. I put my stop. I had about a $4 to $5 level slippage before my stop would trigger, before hitting that support. And the ideal scenario was that Bitcoin would see continuation. And I was hoping the ETH BTC chart would break bullish. And in reality, it broke bearish. So had I chosen Bitcoin as my name to hold over the weekend while I was gone, it would have done better. But that's just the scenario where better luck next time. And perhaps next time it would have go the other way around. So not really upset with my decision to choose Ethereum and did not get stopped out. So now I will move my stop loss up at some point here. Perhaps if we get a little bit more follow through on this bounce. Hourly trend has changed, just like Bitcoin, lower high and lower low. 4-hour time frame has lost exponential support. Bitcoin is still holding it, but on the daily time frame, bearish reversal candlestick, and we have not broken resistance. That's a difference we're about to see with Ethereum and Litecoin. We did not break to daily higher highs, at least with the short-term levels, whereas Bitcoin did. So we're in a tightening range now for ETH, and if we look at it on the weekly, we have our high of the bull move, our low of consolidation, and it's currently a lower high. And you can see the last month, we're essentially just trading sideways. So I am going to place a stop loss where worst case scenario, I will exit this current trade with some profit and then back to a clean slate again. And so far I've traded Litecoin with its recent strength. Now I've traded Ethereum with its recent strength, and we'll see if I choose Bitcoin next. All depends on what the next setup is. But I'm going to ride this Ethereum position as long as I can and see if we can see Bitcoin hold this 4-hour exponential moving average. So here's ETH BTC, and we got a resistance break. We had a triple top of resistance that broke, and then we started seeing consolidation, and I was looking for a daily higher low to form and then either stay in this tightening range or break bullish for our weekly trend change. Because if we set a weekly higher low and higher high, it will be notable, and I wanted to give myself potential exposure if that were to happen. Like I said, the opposite happened. We broke support. So that was not the ideal scenario, but we'll get them next time. Litecoin is also in a tightening range. It's in a daily equilibrium. We have our high, low of the pullback. Whoops. So Litecoin is our high, low of the pullback, lower high, and now we're going to look for a higher low to form compared to 125.60. The 4-hour time frame, we can see this chart. We can play around with the time frames and get what's most clear. And looking at it on the 12-hour, I like the 12-hour. So high, low, lower high is 140 on the dot, and now we're scouting a higher low compared to 125. The closer we get to 125, the better the risk to reward scenario is, because we won't see too much of a loss if we do get stopped out. I would like to see the 4-hour time frame drop back down to the low 130s while seeing healthy consolidation on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then look for Litecoin to lead the way again, potentially. Remember, Litecoin did the same thing with its daily consolidation. It broke out first. Bitcoin has since followed. Let's see if we get another tightening range where then Litecoin gets a bull break of 144s, and then we look for potential of Bitcoin to continue its uptrend following Litecoin along. Litecoin is likely to break this tightening range before we get any kind of major movement on Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin were to pull back and see a daily higher low to form, we would look for Litecoin to pull back and see a daily higher low, but it's possible that the Litecoin bull move could happen first, and that's because Litecoin BTC has pulled back very significantly. So it's very clear that LTC BTC is in a weekly equilibrium, as we anticipated would be the most likely scenario. High, low, very clear lower high, and if we pull back further, we're going to look for a higher low compared to 11.011. But we're seeing some oversold conditions. The 4-hour RSI almost oversold for the first time on LTC BTC. The bulls are going to be trying for an inverse head and shoulders pattern here with the left shoulder, the head. If we cannot break resistance of 15.8, we'll look for a right shoulder to form, and then that bull break would indicate the daily consolidation is over for now. So keep an eye out on that, because if that were to occur, and if this 4-hour time frame can change the trend bullish for LTC BTC, then that's going to be a great sign for Litecoin in how it consolidates in this little daily equilibrium that's forming, with the daily exponential support continuing to catch up and act as support. So Litecoin will have my attention for the next day or two, and potentially looking for an entry based on everything that I just talked about. XRP USD, bull move, but not getting anywhere near the recent high. So again, still a very clear laggard. And granted, Ethereum and Litecoin did not break bullish either. Litecoin already broke bullish a week ago, but Ethereum didn't break bullish, but it's also a lot closer to breaking bullish than XRP is. The high of this move was 442. 474 is resistance, so we're still 6% away from a resistance break, whereas Ethereum was less than 4% away. So XRP is still weaker than those names, and we need more clear follow through. Let's see. I'm trying to find a time frame now where I like the clarity of this tightening range. 2-day time frame. High, low, lower high, higher low. Maybe this is our 2-day lower high being set. If it is, 371 has to hold, and it's just a tightening range. And we will look for this pattern to break sometime in the next 10 days or so, I would say. It can certainly stay within this pattern for well over a week at this point. And that is going to dictate whether we stay weaker compared to everybody else or whether the bulls can play catch up a bit and break this pattern bullish. BNB, so we had a bearish reaction on Binance to the fact that they were shutting out US traders, but they're opening another platform for US traders. So essentially a lot of volatility in reaction to these news events. We did hit a new all-time, actually I take that back. I thought we had, perhaps on a different exchange we did, but on BNB USD, on Binance, we did not hit a new all-time high. We got real close, then the dump occurred, and we can see the range right now that's the most important on this daily time frame. We've got our high, low, lower high, higher low. So I would say that the range of that big volatile daily candlestick from 2 days ago, we're probably going to trade within that for another few days at least. And the break of that range will either obviously send us to all-time highs or tell us that further weekly consolidation is coming. The bulls want to be a bit careful, and you don't want to fall into a sense of complacency of being used to the weekly uptrend lasting forever, because again, when we lose weekly uptrends, we're going to look for healthy monthly consolidation. We have not seen monthly consolidation since $4. That's a long time ago. So if we see this weekly high, low of the pullback, potential bull flag, fail at a breakout, and if we drop down to a lower low below 28, that's going to tell us we're now in a weekly downtrend with a lower high and a lower low. And that's going to tell us that monthly consolidation is underway to form a monthly higher low. So just be aware, again, we can get very used to trends, which long-term trends always eventually change at some point. And this is one that we need to be paying a special attention because we do have a bit of a double top at that all-time high. And if we were to pull back further, again, monthly consolidation could be coming. Monthly equilibrium, we've got another 2 weeks of trading. And if this monthly equilibrium or this monthly inside bar forms at the end of June, how this inside bar breaks will tell us either monthly consolidation or continuation to new all-time highs. So that's where we stand going forward. Congrats to the bulls over this move. Again, long-term position, not touching it and benefiting there, but also trying to benefit from short-term trading positions in the meantime as well. And we'll check back in when we get some action and some more clarity as to how far this consolidation is going to go. Best case for the bulls, Bitcoin holds exponential support tonight, just slowly fades back up into the low $9,000 range and gives a daily inside bar setup for tomorrow, fending off daily consolidation essentially. Keep your eye on LTC USD and this tightening daily equilibrium, because if this LTC BTC chart changes the 4-hour trend, bulls will be positioned pretty well to see this continuation move over 144. And if we get over that 144 level, there's a lack of resistance nearby. 152.94, 171.62 after that. See you soon. Have a good rest of your day. So the most recent chapter of story time from this past weekend went on a camping trip with about 25-30 different people in Joyce Kilmer National Forest, or actually Joyce Kilmer Old Growth Forest inside a national forest. And it's just some of the biggest trees, untouched, old growth forest on the eastern coast. And the biggest trees are about 5 or 6 people hand in hand around the diameter. And a great place to camp with just undeveloped sites along rivers or lakes. And you can bring your canoes and inflatables. So we went out there with a bunch of people. I probably only knew half of them. But one thing this group is really good at doing is organizing and showing up and everybody doing their part. So we had maybe 3 canoes and a big whitewater raft and a bunch of floaties. And everybody brought food for the group. And we had, 3 people designated to cook dinner Saturday night and 4 people for breakfast Sunday morning. And we all eat as a group. And the food that we were eating, if you walked down from a fancy hotel and this was in the lobby, you'd be impressed. So I was very nourished all weekend, as we all were, and just doing the hangout, have fun, play around. One of the games we played, we were standing on either side of the whitewater raft, and there's a rope in between, and you all pull it. There's 2 people and you pull it as fast as you can, and then once you get taut on the rope, you can't fall in or out, and it's a fun tug-of-war game and a lot of falling in the water. But that was great, and a lot of fireside drumming and music, some great musicians, some singers and banjo players and all that good stuff. Some kids and dogs were there. Pretty much the ideal camping weekend as far as I'm concerned. But it's the kind of thing where when I come back from that, it's really hard for me to care about trading and profits and candlesticks. So it takes me a few days to get back into the flow of things. And that's when I just pump the brakes. And I know that, my mental state's a little bit different and I'm not really focused and in the zone and in my routine. So the next couple days I scale back my trading, and it's much different than if I'm in the zone and in my routine and an opportunity presents itself and I get very aggressive. If I were to try and get very aggressive right now, it probably wouldn't end well. So I'll share some videos over the next couple of days from that, and then we'll get back in the routine. See you next time.